Hello, David.
Hi.
First question I want to ask you is, what actually encouraged you to participate in the FOM event and share your knowledge with others?
Obsolescence, we tend to work in a bubble, right, within our own organizations. So, our day-to-day operations and dealing with fighting obsolescence in itself, right? So these kind of forums are great for us because it gets a chance for us to get out to meet the rest of the community. We all face obsolescence. We all face the risk of counterfeits and things like that. So getting outside of your own element and sharing that information, I think it helps the entire industry.
Why do you think obsolescence becomes such a hot topic these days?
Well, specifically for us, I mean, we're in the aerospace sector, so our aircraft and systems are aging over time. So early on, that wasn't as key of an issue as it becomes as time goes on. So in order for us to sustain and maintain the fleet that we have fielded, as well as production of aging systems, obviously obsolescence becomes more and more critical for us.
What do you think is the biggest threat to the security of the supply chain?
For us, probably the biggest security threat is maintaining our AVL, maintaining the suppliers that we can trust, that we make sure that we're only getting directly from OEMs or authorized sources, things of that nature.
Yeah, so in regards to that, obviously, in a perfect world, you will never, ever buy from the open market.
Mm-hmm.
You only go direct and everything comes on time. But in reality, you have to face the open market, unfortunately, quite often.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is the best practices to work effectively with the open market?
So for us, one of the most key elements is that partnership with who you're dealing with. We have a very, very narrow supplier base that we're allowed to use with the open market, and that's controlled, very tightly controlled within our organization. So that partnership sort of is our key element, right? So you have a trusted source that is going through all of the correct countermeasures to validate and verify the material that you're bringing in-house.
You mentioned there is a limited partners that you can work with. How do you measure these open market partners?
Measuring, even one counterfeit instance that comes into our house is one too many, right? So, I mean, the risk is too great. Measuring that level of success means never having any kind of counterfeits actually enter into our facilities. So the qualification of those suppliers up front is really what's more key than anything else, those key partners that we work with.
How do you think innovation can play a part in regards to obsolescence management?
So obviously obsolescence is always management, it's always evolving. How can we improve upon the systems that we have today versus what we had yesterday? The key for us more, going forward, like the future, is not doing things in a reactive manner, but moving more towards proactive obsolescence management. That actually also plays a key role in avoiding even your exposure to counterfeit, right? So
Yeah.
if you can manage your obsolescence proactively, meaning plan for it, tech refreshes, things like that, instead of just always being reactionary. When you get an end-of-life notice, what do you do going forward?
Yes. How would you see the future of obsolescence? Where are we going from here? What lays ahead?
We know it's not going to go away. If anything, obsolescence issues are going to increase, right? As we mentioned before, as systems age, just naturally as you're using a lot of COTS items, and they have a different life cycle than what, in a commercial sector than what we have in a defense sector. So making sure we stay ahead of that, planning for that, I think that's kind of our future, right? Staying ahead of obsolescence.
What is the advice that you can give to customers and companies who are dealing with these challenges?
Um, Plan for it, budget for it. That's the other key thing. A lot of times companies don't have, um, you know, the funding necessary to support obsolescence management, or even not just even management, but resolution of obsolescence issues. Last time buys a lot of times are a way of, should be a way of bridging something from point A to point B to a resolution. A lot of times it ends up really being somebody kicking the can down the road, so to speak, right? So I think it's important that, anyone that's starting up a program, not just to have a plan and a vision of what they need for their particular program and systems, but how do you pay for that?